It's Tuesday, July 17. This is the news on PBCJ. I am Simone Absalom. The Jamaica Police Federation, which represents rank and file members of the Jamaica Constabulary Force, has rejected the government's latest wage offer. While the Federation has declined to disclose the offer, which was submitted last week, Federation Chairman Corporal Arlene McBean, in a statement yesterday, argued that it is undoubtedly clear the government is not serious about the survivability and sustainability of law enforcement officers. McBean declined to state the exact offer, saying the matter is still under discussion. She said rank and file cops remain restive and urgently need a meaningful and amicable closure to the long-standing issue. Jamaica's nurses are hoping to reach a wage deal with the government by the end of the month. The Nurses Association of Jamaica, NAJ, met with the Health and Finance Ministries on June 27 for further wage negotiations. NAJ President Carmen Johnson said the government is maintaining its offer of a 16% increase over 4 years. However, she said progress has been made in other areas, such as the government's current inclination to increase the cadre of nurses, an increase which the NAJ has been requesting for years. Senate last Friday passed the Child Diversion Bill with 13 amendments. The legislation seeks to enable the implementation of child diversion measures in dealing with children who come into conflict with the law. The bill was piloted by Minister of Education, Youth and Information, Senator Ruel Reid. In his contribution to the debate, Government Senator Charles Sinclair said the passage of the bill would signal the country's commitment in ensuring that every child in conflict with the law is treated in a manner that recognizes and upholds human dignity. He said, as a party to the United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child, Jamaica has a duty to put measures in place to deal with children who are accused of breaking the law, as they have the right to legally help and fair treatment in the justice system. Fire severely damaged a distillery with more than 65,000 liters of rum at Long Pond Sugar Factory in Trelawney yesterday. A worker at the factory said that the fire started in a sugarcane field behind the factory, caught a pile of bagasse on the property, and quickly spread to the distillery area. Sections of the building housing the stores collapsed after being consumed by the angry flames. Meanwhile, Kevin Barnett, plant manager at Long Pond Distillers, says he's grateful that despite the loss of property, there were no reports of physical harm to any workers. In regional news, a plane crash that killed 112 people in Cuba on May 18 was caused by human error. The Mexican company that owned the jet issued a statement on the issue on Monday. Global Air, whose operations were suspended by the Mexican authorities over the incident, said a study by international experts on the black boxes from the Boeing 737 had found that the pilot's takeoff was too steep. According to witnesses, it plunged just as it made its first turn after takeoff, crashing into a potato field just outside the capital. Just one person survived the crash. As Antigua and Barbuda prepares to open the region's first sexual offences court, law enforcement officers are receiving training to deal with those crimes. It is part of the judicial reform and institutional strengthening project of the Caribbean Court of Justice and the Canadian government. More in this report from ABS Television's Jamie Rocha.
Sexual Offences Court, being set up in Antigua and Barbuda under the project, will serve as a model for similar courts to be developed in other countries in the region. Regional Project Coordinator and Gender Specialist for the Jewish Project, Anika Gray, shares details about the court.
The Sexual Offences Model Court is essentially a set of specialized procedures for the management of sexual offense cases. These specialized procedures include tighter case management processes, a fast-tracking process for sexual offense cases, as well as one of the new features that we're going to be implementing is the use of video conferencing technology that will allow vulnerable complainants to give their evidence remotely.
At the opening of a 3-day seminar for police on Friday, Deputy Commissioner Everton Jeffers charged the participants to share the knowledge gained at the workshop with colleagues in their various departments.
I'm expecting at the end of this 3 days training or workshop that all of you sitting here this morning will be more efficient in terms of your investigations. And I expect also at the end of the day to see an increase in our success rates at the court and a vast improvement in our professionalism as it pertains to sexual offences investigation.
Detective Inspector from the Center for Investigation of Sexual Offences and Child Abuse in Jamaica, Sharice Johnson, is the instructor at the workshop.
The objective of this workshop really is to build the capacity of you as police officers to respond more effectively to gender-based violence and sexual offense cases. I can assure you that it will help you to enhance your knowledge, understanding and skills to the approaches on how to investigate sexual assault cases.
Over the course of the seminar, participants will focus on areas including the dynamics of sexual violence, policing sexual violence, implications of sexual victimization, protection of evidence, and meeting the emerging needs of the complainant. Police Workshop is the first of several seminars to be held in July and August. Other groups scheduled to benefit from the training are prosecutors, medical professionals, and magistrates.
St. Vincent and Grenadines Prime Minister Ralph Gonsalves and former Brazilian President Dilma Rousseff were among Caribbean and Latin American leaders who gathered in Havana, Cuba for the Sao Paulo Forum. The forum is a rallying call for regional unity. We have more in this report from Richard Richards.
At the opening ceremony of the 24th edition of the Forum of Sao Paulo in Havana, the member of the Communist Party of Cuba, José Ramón Balaguer, summoned the left-wing forces of Latin America and the Caribbean to unite, major issue to confront and defeat the hostility actions of the United States and its followers against the governments and peoples who opposes domination and interference in the affairs of independent nations. During the first working hours of this 3 days gathering, the Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Ralph Gonsalves, made a solidarity call for the defense of the governments of Nicaragua and Venezuela and the backup to the people of Brazil. Among the 430 delegates of Latin America, the Caribbean, Africa, Asia, and Europe that are attending this forum, there are more than 100 parties, left-wings, progressive organizations, syndicates, scientific politicians, various former presidents of Latin American countries, and Oscar López Rivera, fighter for the independence of Puerto Rico. Dilma Rousseff, former president of Brazil, overthrown by a parliamentary coup in her declarations to the Cuban television information system, recalled that the founders of the Sao Paulo's Forum, Comandante Fidel Castro Ruz and Luis Inácio Lula da Silva, former president of Brazil, joined later on by Hugo Rafael Chávez Frías, late president of Venezuela, had conceived this type of gathering as a backup to the popular governments in the region who had made Latin America and the Caribbean less unequal in the sharing of their country's richness for the benefit of those who needed the most. The 24th edition of Sao Paulo's Forum in Havana will have its closing ceremony this Tuesday, 17th of July. Direct from Cuba, Richard Richards, Canal Caribe.
In sports, we go to cricket, as West Indies cricket captain Jason Holder had a maiden 10-wicket haul as the host registered an emphatic 166-run win over Bangladesh to clinch the second test on the series on Sunday. Here's more in this report.
Dismissal for both these batsmen. First it was Mushfiqur Rahim and then Nurul Hassan. King pair, first ball on target, misses it one more time. Again playing inside the line, not trying to show to play with the bat, misses it plumb in front.
an excellent test match for Jason Holder with ball. Shannon Gabriel then made his contribution, getting rid of Mehdi Hassan, well caught by Devon Smith. It's a good catch because it would have gone to Jason Holder. May have been quite low, but it would have carried, but Smith committed himself to taking the catch, and that was very good.
That was the big moment for the captain, picking up his 5 wicket, 10 wickets in a match, and also the wicket of the captain Shakib Al Hassan. That one checked back quite sharply and went through the defenses of Shakib Al Hassan. Brilliant delivery under the circumstances, and then this all over.
Yeah, given the number of wickets that Jason Holder has taken in this home international series, it'd be interesting to know how many, what percentage of that was bowled or LBW, because he's been hitting the stumps regularly. He's not been at full pace. An excellent test match for the Windies captain, and he's been batting so very well.
Still with cricket, as explosive all-rounder Andre Russell is poised to play his first one-day international in 3 years after being named in a 13-man squad for a 3-match series against Bangladesh starting Sunday in Guyana, but no place has been found for veteran right-hander Marlon Samuels. The 30-year-old Russell has not played since the tour of Sri Lanka back in 2015. And that's the news. Thanks so much for making it PBCJ. Remember, we are the People's Station.